And I'm going to ask Jasmine, we're going to do this number together since we're talking about close. We're just going to do this number before we go to New Orleans. And just ask that you would just pray for us. Jasmine, God has really given her a great, great gift, and I'm so proud of her. So we just want to sing this song. I just want to be close to you. Sunshine, moonlight, delight. Just a couple of words describing who you are. Lovely, lovely. Want everyone to know why I'm in love with you. Right on. Now no one can, 'cause I belong until the end. It's good to know, and all I want till my dying day, I just wanna be close to you. Yes, and sweet. Oh my, heaven is where I wanna be, where I am when I'm with you. Yes, perfect, and all the while I know that you can know the truth. Now no one can, 'cause I belong to you until the end of time. It's good to know you're mine, and all I wanna say. Wanna be close to you. All right, here we go.
Here we go, then.
You took a while to see, but now we know the truth.
Now no one can
undo.
I belong
To you
until the end
of time.
Good to know
That you're mine.
all I wanna say till my dying day.
I just wanna be close to you. Yeah, 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 yeah. How long will you stay? I just wanna be close to you. Tonight we are going to the book of 2 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. And I'm going to begin reading at verse 23. Let's look at the 15th verse, and the word of God says, "And David longed and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And the three mighty men brake through the host of the Philistines, and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it, and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord. And he said, Be it far from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these three mighty men. I want to talk for a few moments on this last night of 2010, and I want to talk on I really don't need that. Look at somebody and tell them tonight, I really don't need that. Thank you, ushers. There's some things that you have dealt with in 2010. I just believe that you need to make up in your mind right now that I'm not taking it into 2011. Just think about all of the things that have disturbed you and bothered you in the past. You got to speak to your past and tell them, not in the new year. Because I really don't need that. That's why I wanted you to look at this story tonight, and it's a very interesting story because as we look at David and as we look at this story, David was a fugitive, hiding in caves and in constant risk of being caught by his deadly enemy, King Saul. He was running from King Saul. So now he finds himself locked in a cave. He's in a defined box. So now as he looks out over the country, he's full of rich memories. How things used to be. For just at the foot of the hill, he had fought the famous battle with Goliath. Not too far from there was Bethlehem, the village in which he was born and bred. And almost within sight were the slopes where David, as a shepherd boy, watched his father's sheep. While down between the summits of those distant hills was the gate of Bethlehem, where the well that David had quenched his thirst so many times before in those early and happy days. You know, the well of Bethlehem, it's so noted here. It's a special place, and it appears to have made a deep impression on his mind, which he could not erase. He kept remembering the well at Bethlehem. Memories. Some good, some bad. Memories that I just can't let go. Things that I hold on to in the past that's still depressing me. Find myself singing, going through what I'm going through, and you find yourself finding something to ease your mind as it relates to memories. One last bell to answer. one less egg to fry, one less man to pick up after. I should be happy, but all I do is cry. Memories. You find yourself so focused in on memories. I see her face everywhere I go. Even on the street and at the picture show. Have you seen? I mean, it gets deep. Why, oh, why did she have to leave and go away? And it goes on to say, I'm just lost. Lost where? In a memory. Lost. How many people tonight lost like David in a memory? You keep holding on to the past. And some of you are about to take some of that junk into 2011 that you ought to leave in 2010. But tonight I want this to stick into your spirit that if it ain't for you, I really don't need that. Because David here he's depressed. This man after God's own heart is depressed. He's in the midst of worry and the battle of life. The scenes of past days are so vividly portrayed to the mental sight that even in our own lives we crave for the times and enjoyments that are gone. Memories like the corners of my mind. David he's troubled here because David knew that Bethlehem had been taken by the enemy. Here was a man who was so hooked on the well of Bethlehem. I want that well back. I need some water from the well of Bethlehem. Not that he didn't have water. He had water, but I've been so used to the water at Bethlehem, but you see, there were great obstacles in the way of obtaining a drink from the well of Bethlehem. David thought of that well over and over again, just day in and day out. I just want a drink. I got to have a drink. I need a drink. But he remembered that the Philistines had captured it. It's not mine anymore. I need to move on, but I want to go back and get one more drink from my favorite well. Well, I think tonight we all have visions of happy wells. What kind of happy well in your past are you trying to go back to? There's some wells in the past that you're supposed to move on, and we have vision of happy wells of which we drank from in the past and from which we are now separated by a barrier of years or other things. Some way, somehow, through the years we've been separated from that well. Got to deal with the well that you've been separated from. You have to be able to deal with it. You can't allow it to depress you. Brother, you got to get over it. She married somebody else. Get over it. You got to be able to deal with what the wells of the past are all about. And that's what David was dealing with. But in this story, we are reminded that there are better things than to get stuck on the well of Bethlehem. Cherish your dreams by all means. Please, please, my brother, my sister, keep on dreaming. Don't ever give up your dreams. Don't ever give up your goals. Don't ever give up on the desires that God gives you. But I'm here to tell you, don't give up on your dreams, but learn how to be thankful for what you have in the present and make the most and the best of your opportunities now. I come tonight to speak deliverance in this place because some of you are holding so much in your past that you can't even enjoy your future. Some of you can't even sleep at night because you're so busy trying to fix somebody that did something to you in the past. But I don't want to take it into 2011. I found out every struggle that I've gone through, everybody who has misused me, everybody who has talked about me, it wasn't for my bad. It made me stronger. Oh, somebody said if I never had a problem, how would I know that God could solve it? You can't really appreciate up unless you've been down. You don't know how it is to have a good day unless you had a bad day. You need to learn how to even thank God for your enemies. Some of you still mad at what your parents did 30 years ago. Tonight, I come to speak it in this place to tell you, leave it in 2010 because I'm about to cross over into my new destiny, and I really don't need that. I just don't need it. It's not for me. I've moved on. I've got new goals. I have new desires. Anybody here, you ready to move on? I'm ready to move on to my future, and I see you in your future, and you look better. That's what I see. I see you walking in favor and in prosperity. Stop worrying about the well you can't get to no more. David wasn't doing too bad. He was surrounded by people who loved him, but he didn't appreciate that. He had food to eat. He had water to drink, but he was stuck on the well at Bethlehem like a little baby. I want that water. I want that water. Some of you, God has already blessed you. You got a roof over your head. You got a job. And you're still complaining because Johnny left you. I wish I had a witness in this place. Listen, I'm here to tell you, if God let Johnny go, bye-bye, Johnny. Stop focusing in on things that God delivers you from. Do you know what our problem is? A lot of people don't know that your steps are ordered by God. That's what a lot of people don't understand tonight. You are not an accident. God knew what was going to happen in your life even before you were born. So what you got to do, you got to wake up and you got to understand Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together. All things means the good things and the bad things, but what's getting ready to happen, he's going to take the bad stuff and he's going to take the good stuff, but he's going to work it out for my good. I don't have time. I don't have time to be depressed. I don't have time to hold my head down. I got to realize that God's been good to me. I preach all over this country Sometimes I run into some of our former members at Greater St. Stephen in New Orleans. They moved to different cities, got great jobs now. Children are in better schools. But I stop and talk to them. I want to go home. I miss y'all. Stay here. You're doing better. Thank God for what you got where you are. All I'm trying to tell you, because I wanted us to look at David tonight, because David got caught up. He got caught up in a well. Oh, cherish your dreams by all means, but be thankful for what you have right now. Oh, I know the gift of water would have always been associated in David's mind, because sometimes we crave things we can't have instead of thanking God for what we do have. Isn't that amazing? We always want something that we can't have. That was my problem growing up. There was a policy in our home that before you get Kool-Aid, you got to eat all your beans, your potatoes, the meat. If it looked like you was going towards that glass, you were in a world of trouble. And that was the hardest thing. God, if I could just have a drink. All because I could not have it. We always crave things that we can't have. That's why some of y'all messing with the wrong man now. Oh, I'm gonna leave that alone. This is that. Craving for something that is not really yours. And that was the problem that David was facing now. He was so stuck on the past. But when you look at verse 16, here's what the Bible says. And the three mighty men, these men were loyal. These were some good men. Look what they did. They saw how depressed David was, how down he was, talking about this well every day, wanting water from the well every day. Here's three good friends. They make up in their minds. They say, listen, I know the enemy is strong, but you see how depressed David is. We are going to break into the enemy's camp and get him some of that water from the well of Bethlehem. They had to go through soldiers. They had to go through the enemy. But they were so loyal to David, they didn't want to see him with his head down. They didn't want to see him depressed. They didn't want to see him sad, so they were willing to risk their lives just to get him a drink from the well of Bethlehem. Now they return, and the three mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord. We just went through a living hell to get you this water. I could see you pouring the water out. If one of the men got killed because of your foolish wish, but we all made it back, and you poured it out? Oh, some of y'all would be very upset, wouldn't you? I went through this for you, and you mean to tell me that you had the nerve to pour it out? He pours it out. What happened? What happened was David came to his spiritual senses. What happened was the water to him spiritually had become like blood. You see, the water from the well by the gate at Bethlehem was not a necessity. It was a gratification of sentiment or memory, and that life had been in danger because of a sentiment. That's why he poured it out. I'm sorry that you risked your life, but I risked your life over a sentiment. I risked your life over a memory. Not realizing what I had, I become so spoiled. I become so wrapped up in my ways that I let you go and get me water, and there was a good chance that you wouldn't even come back. He poured it out. He poured it out. I know you may not understand, because gratification we have or crave, the whim we have indulged, the needless convenience we have thoughtlessly enjoyed. Think about it. I don't care what it is in life. If it's just for the gratification of the flesh, pour it out. If it's not the plan that God has for my life, before 2011 hits, pour it out. I know people may talk about you because they went all the way with you. They were your running buddy. They stood with you through thick and thin. But I'm here to tell you, in order for you to succeed in the new year, there's going to be some friends you got to pour it out. You got to. I know it hurts. Thank you. You saw me through some hard times. You saw me through some rough days, but I'm in a new season now. And now I see Jesus, and I cannot let this flesh control me, because my flesh will make me lose my friends. My flesh will make me risk somebody else's life. I got to pour it out. I got to pour it out. That's what I'm speaking in this season. And I come to speak it today. No matter what it is, if it's of the flesh, you need to pour it out. Some of you can't take that hate into 2011. Touch somebody, say, pour it out. No, you can't. You cannot. You cannot take that selfish spirit into 2011. I come to speak it tonight to tell you, pour it out. David denied himself what his body weakly craved. Sometimes, people of God, you got to deny yourself. Oh, but when you deny yourself and take up your cross and follow him, I may have some witnesses here tonight. Your future will be better. I'm wondering tonight, and I just need some honest folk to just go through your mind, and you need to talk to yourself and say, what do I need to pour out? What do I need to pour out? There's somebody you couldn't even speak to in 2010. Well, it's time to let it go now. Pour it out. Pour it out. It's stopping you from your blessing. It's stopping you from your breakthrough. It's stopping you from getting the joy that you need from the Lord. Touch somebody, tell them, pour it out. Pour it out. You got to do it. You got to do it because God said, do it. Although the narrow-minded may not understand you, you still got to go on. You see, I want you to understand, by not drinking that water, he put the water to the highest use by pouring it out on the ground. It seemed to be a waste, But there was a far greater meaning to it, because if he had used it to quench his fleshly thirst, he would have remembered it for a moment. How many of you get something but you just remember it for a moment? But you see, when he poured it out by refusing it and pouring it on the ground before the Lord, it lasted forever. And what he was doing, he was saying, God, you greater than what I was wrapped up in. You greater than my memory. You greater than my past. You greater than what I got hooked on. In fact, you are my water. Oh, I ought to have some witnesses here. I am here to tell you tonight, God will be whatever you ask him to be. Won't he be your water in a thirsty land? Won't he be your doctor in the sick room? Won't he be your lawyer in the court? I dare you to touch somebody, tell them, pour it out, pour it out. Some of you, before this year ends, you need to pour out some things before the Lord. I don't need anything that's going to bind me in the flesh. If it's greed, pour it out. Wait for your turn. Don't try to get something the wrong way. Wait on it. They that wait up, I feel like preaching in this place. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Tell somebody, pour it out, pour it out. If it's a lustful spirit, pour it out. If it's a jealous spirit, pour it out. And I know somebody will ask you, well, I know what that person did to you. You ought to treat them like you're treating them. You ought to treat them mean, because I know what they did to you. But you poured it out. Why did you pour it out? Why did you pour it out? And I want you to be able to answer, because I really don't need that. I don't care what you've done to me. God's been good to me. Is there any money? You know that he's been good. I speak it in your life. Satan, you get off of God's people. Take your hand off. I ain't gonna live in the past, be bound by the past, but my future is bright. I need somebody to say, pour it out, pour it out, until you get your breakthrough, because there is a fountain filled with, he ain't gonna leave you empty, filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's vein. Sinners plunge beneath the flood, lose all their guilty stain. I thank God he'll fill you up with his power. If you pour out your power, he'll fill you up with his mind. If you pour out your mind, he'll fill you up with his way. If you pour out your way, he'll fill you up with his light. If you pour out your light, it'll be all right. Pour it out, 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 pour it out. Let it go, let it go. It's over, devil. It's over. Is there anybody? Is there anybody? You're glad about it? I'm glad. I'm glad I've learned how to pour it out. Ain't no need of me acting like I've been so good all the time. I've fallen short of the glory of God. But like David, I caught myself. I caught myself. It ain't doing me no good. I gotta pour it out. Yes, I've been lied on. I've been misused. I've been talked about. But I made it up in my mind. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go because my future depends on what I pour out and what I take in. Yes, somebody, you're dealing with your well at Bethlehem. Just look to Jesus. He's got a better well. Look to Jesus. He's got better water. Oh, won't he fix it? Oh, won't he fix it? Yeah, he'll fix it. Yeah, he'll fix it. Tonight. Don't let nobody mess with your new year. You're too close to crossing over. I give myself. I pour it out, Lord. Just quietly, just take your seats. Hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah. There's somebody just to praise him now. Give myself away. Give myself away. So can use it. Give myself away. Give myself away. So can use it. Come on, help me sing. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. Come on, say it. Give myself away. Pour it out, 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 pour it out. Give myself away so you can use me. Give myself away. Turn it over to you, Jesus. Yes. Give myself away so you can listen. My life is not my own. To you I belong. I give myself to you. Life is not my own. To you I belong. Oh, I give myself to you. Oh, you got to realize your life is not your own. My life is not my own. To you I belong. Oh, I give myself to you. You gotta speak it until you know it. My life is not